This is a lunchtime conversation. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about death today. What do you guys view, or how do you view death? What's your views on death?
It's a thing.
I'm scared to death of death.
Scared of death.
Yes. And going back to, I think I talked about this in the introduction episode a little bit. I'm LDS. There's also part of me that's atheist. And I think the part of me that's atheist is like, dude, if I die, that might be it. And that scares me to be like, dude, that sucks. Like, I really like life. And if I die, I want it to continue. Mm-hmm. And so there's part of me that's like scared of dying, because then you find out. And it's either you just go to sleep and never wake up,
because you just don't know.
Exactly.
Remember that time before you were born?
No.
That's death.
It's kind of relieving. You know, for some people, that thought you just described is actually a relief.
True. And that's where...
Nothing. You don't need to worry about it anymore.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, that's not how I view it, by the way, or that's not how I feel.
True. That's one thing, like, we don't talk about death very often in our society. You look at like the Roman Empire, the memento mori, like if a Roman captain got back from a battle and they would parade him around the city and he won the battle, they'd parade him around the city to congratulate him, but there would be a servant behind him whispering memento mori. And it was like, remember, you're going to die. And it's like, hey, dude, you might be on top of the mountain. You just won this battle. You're a badass. You're the hero, but you're going to die one day.
Blow yourself real fast.
Realize that you're going to die and that you're just going to turn into the dust of the earth. So be a little bit more humble about this. So I think death is good to talk about, but man, it scares me.
So again, Bet and Min, are you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to go down the line of, for a lot of religious people, you get this sense of awesomeness of knowing that what you're working for is towards an afterlife, right? That feeling that what I'm doing right now is setting me up for an afterlife. That feeling that you get as you're going through and you believe that and you're working for that, I get the same in the opposite direction, knowing in my belief that nothing happens and it's just like before you were born. There's no memory there. There's no feeling, no nothing. That is a very similar feeling to what I would compare to what those that believe in an afterlife feel, because it makes this life that much more sweet.
We're going to actually get into that. Those what you're talking about, we're going to get into. So you, Trevin, you believe, if you had to bet, what would you believe happens when you die? Not what you hope.
You had to put your life on it.
I would say something happens when you die.
That's your belief, or not your hope, your belief.
Yeah, so I would believe. Going back to like my percentages, I'm only 25% atheist. I would say the rest of me does believe that when you die, something happens. Either simulation theory, you get uploaded into the new program, or
you wake up and you were in VR the whole time.
You're in VR, or you wake up and it's God sitting down with you, like, hey, dude, you did really good. Let's chat about this. But I would say 75% of my belief is there is something that happens after you die.
That's not your hope. You ascribe to that to the where you can basically, I guarantee you that happens.
Yeah. On a 75%.
What's your hope? Same thing?
No, my hope would be 100%. Like this, it's too awesome. It's too beautiful to just have it be done when you're dead. Like I would hope that there's something more 100%.
Yeah, the exact same awesome. The exact same.
But would that also be your hope as well? That's my hope.
There's something else?
Yeah, there's something else. Hope, that's my hope.
That's my hope. There's something else. Yeah, I guess. Like,
we were talking
if there is, then awesome. That'd be pretty cool. Because if I had the choice, I would live forever.
Yeah.
Which is essentially that, if you could live forever.
Right. Yep. But I can't bet on that.
Right. That's not your belief. That's not what you actually think is going to happen.
But I hope, and if not, then I take a pill that makes me live forever.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So we were talking about this at lunch, funny enough, actually, and I don't have it in here, but I'm going to bring it up again on the podcast, of how weird it is that we're able to sit in this room today, live, breathing beings, billions of years after the universe started. Isn't that pretty weird?
Yeah.
Isn't it likely and just as weird that there's more to it than this after the fact?
Yeah.
Just as likely.
Because this happened, which is off the fucking chain.
It's pretty off the chain.
Wouldn't it also be off the chain if there was a heaven?
Perfect.
This is too perfect. You know how it doesn't get much more perfect
yeah.
than this, bro.
But it's not that perfect. Like,
No, it's pretty.
there's still a lot
The
of
lottery odds for
suffering
you
and-
sitting here in this room with the lottery odds for us sitting in this room together with you, that's pretty
But if
fucking
someone
perfect.
had to do it, it's this guy right here.
But you get what I'm saying, though? Like,
yeah, because you're right. Like, out of the lottery, there's 100 billion million trillion chances for this to happen.
and it just so
And-
happened
and
that it did.
all of the planets and solar systems and yada yada.
So
yada.
you're more of a coincident mind.
So it's almost
mindset.
an inevitability that it did happen.
More likely this happened in.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay. Are you scared of death?
Yes.
You already said you are.
Yeah.
I also am.
I'm scared to experience dying,
But you're not scared to not be here.
to not be here, because my feeling and my belief is that nothing happens. And so if it was instant, there's nothing to be scared of. If it was instant and I never felt it, I didn't even see it coming.
So the fear I have is not actually dying. The fear I have is not being here.
yeah, it's like I don't get to experience things anymore.
Right.
Can I put an asterisk on my fear?
Yeah.
Here's what I wanted to bring. So, did you ever see Act of Valor? It was about the Navy SEALs, and the one guy dies, and he sends a letter to his son at the very end. So, I want to read the last two lines of the letter he sent. So, it's by Tekumish, is like the author. But the last two lines of the poem that he sends to his son is, "When it comes your time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home."
Yes.
So I would say I'm scared of death, but I also try to live my life like, say robbers come in your house and they start attacking, I'd be like, bring it on, dude. I'm ready to die.
Yes.
Because I hope that I live my life in such a way that when death does come, it's like, bring it on. I'm ready to go to Valhalla. Let's freaking fight these bad guys.
And the way I look at it, I agree. I want to be memorialized in this thing. I don't want to be forgotten about in just another piece of the pie of Earth. Like,
True.
If you could have a 100-foot tall pyramid built for you, wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, just because why not?
Or a statue or something that signified you're the reason this happened.
Sure. I'm more worried about kind of like what you said. My philosophy here is what's the point of life, right? Why live?
Yep.
In my framework, why live? You live in such the reason. How am I going to put this? The purpose of life is to live in such a way that you don't regret. You don't have regrets when you die, or you're not afraid to die when it comes your time. And at this point in time, I'm not there yet. I'm not done experiencing things. I still have a lot to do. I still have things to accomplish and things to experience. So I'm not ready yet. But when it comes my time, will I be
ever going to be ready?
I don't know. But I try to live every day so that I can set myself up to be ready.
Yep.
So that when I'm living on my deathbed and I'm laying there contemplating my life, I can say, I did everything. I did the best that I could with what I was given at any given time. And I don't have to go back, well, I wish I did this. I never got the chance to do that. I wish I did this differently. I always operate every day like I am making the best choice for myself in that moment. And I should not have regrets for that.
Because you could die in a car wreck on the way home.
Right.
So it's a damn good thing you went on that trip last week, because instead of you saying, well, I want to save more money to go on the trip next year.
Mm-hmm.
No, dude, go on the trip now. Go experience life now, because you might not be here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. But also set yourself up for future you.
Yes.
You gotta.
You can't spend all your money.
Exactly. Yeah. But to me, that's the meaning of life. That's the purpose of life, is to live in such a way that when it comes your time, you're more or less ready.
Yeah.
I agree. We all do it. I don't think everyone on Earth does it well.
No.
But here's the thing. I don't even know, like, as an 80-year-old man laying on my deathbed, I don't know if I'd be ready.
Yeah, it would still be scary to confront that. I no doubt about that. But I think the scary part is the ceasing to live.
Yes.
I no longer get to experience things. And that sucks.
The fear of the unknown is a scary thing for a lot of people. It's scary for me of not knowing what's on the other side. And I generally believe it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But that in itself is scary to me.
Yeah.
Even though I've already experienced nothing.
Ooh, Here's a good kind of side tangent. It's kind of in the same realm. Cloning, right? It's kind of with death and your consciousness. Teleportation. Let's go back to teleportation. So I think it's in Star Trek.
Oh, I know where you're going.
When you teleport,
you zap
your body gets broken down, and essentially
reformed.
Yeah, it gets put back together in the same manner in this new location. Would you teleport if when you teleported it broke everything down, and on the other side, you lose consciousness and you essentially die? You right here, right now, you are gone, but on the other side is you, but it's another you.
It's a continuation of you.
It's a continuation. So to me, it's the same you, all the same memories, all the same things, but on the other side, it could be.
So
not you.
Are you saying it's a copy?
It's a copy. That's because I believe in all the Star Trekkies that are listening are probably like, "Oh, motherfucker, it was this, that." I'm assuming here. I didn't ever watch a whole lot of it, but yeah, it's essentially a copy. It breaks you down. And copies you down there in a different location.
You don't even have to Star Trek it. Just make it layman's terms. If I made a device that teleported you from this room to that room, and I said, "Hey, I can teleport," would you hop in it?
No. I would not, from the simple. If you prove to me it's just...
How am I going to prove it?
Yeah, how are you going to prove it? Because on the other end, it's the same person.
Even if I do it, I'm like, well, dude, watch. I'll come out perfectly just fine.
Exactly.
And I'm like, dude, I'm great. Look at this.
No, so you could prove it because there's a book about this where they figure out, they have a door, they figure out something, they start going through this other side. And after they do it enough, they start to know differences. Like, hey, dude, like this time when you come through, you had way more gray hair than last. No, I didn't.
But what if there was no differences in this situation? It was just... You would just sit down.
If you did it for 1 billion times and there's no differences, I might. But so the book, I have, you guys, this is going to be such a long podcast because I have so many things I want to talk about. No, so there's a book called Bobaverse. He's a computer and he's exploring the galaxy. He can copy himself. And when he copies himself, his number one, not his rule, but when he copies himself, the copy version has to name themselves something different. And if you think about it, if you copied yourself right now, yes, you're the exact same copy, but if you're looking at yourself now, you're going to see things from a different point of view. I'd be sitting on that side of the room looking at this way, and this person.
And everything
so
would change.
From that point on, everything would change. Yes, you're a copy, but from that point on, everything would change. So then if you start copying the copies, they would be different. And once you get 16, 32, 64, all the way down to those copies, they're going to be very different versions of myself.
Yep, absolutely.
And so that's where I'm like, the copy thing does make me hesitant. But if you're talking about like the jumper where you can just poof like out of reality and pop back into reality, I don't think that would scare me as much.
It's not a copy, it's a continuation. The only thing is you don't know whether or not it's a continuation, or is it a continuation of you that is a copy that you just killed your current self.
You killed this one and uploaded the copy.
Correct.
Then I wouldn't do it.
And in every experiment, in every account of going through it, it's the exact same. It's the same person at the other end because it's a perfect copy. But you don't know it's a copy. It's teleporting. And so they tell you how it happens is we break down everything molecularly and then we rebuild it in the exact same way over here. And that's how it works.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't
do it either.
I wouldn't do it.
But think of how convenient that'd be.
Sure.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
But the risk of breaking the consciousness and losing it, because I don't know if you can maintain the same consciousness on the other end, the same.
That's the thing. We don't know what consciousness is.
Even looking at it from a scientific, I look at like the scientific side of my brain and say you're operating in like the upward, I don't know, say you're operating in the left side of your brain when you're being copied, but when you copy over there, your consciousness picks up on the right side of your brain. Like that's where like the consciousness thing gets weird for me. Cause right now it's just flowing. Like it's just going wherever it wants, but it's always connected. And if you break that, like whether you're talking about a soul or consciousness, that's what scares me. Cause that's what death is when you're no longer conscious, when your soul leaves the body. And so copying it and shutting the soul off for a minute would be killing that person and copying another one.
So you're actually touching into my next area of the topic is religious beliefs. Some believe that like reincarnation's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't reincarnation essentially just that? your current form is dying out and your spiritual form is going up to wherever, back into another physical form.
So if you believe in a spirit, a conscious spirit, that the body doesn't matter, it's the consciousness. So if you did ascribe to that, it wouldn't be no different.
Right.
You would just get a new body and then you'd move into that new body and everything would stay the same.
I don't like
That's
reincarnation.
You don't like reincarnation.
That one, I don't. It seems interesting. My brother really likes it. He thinks that in order to become a god, you have to, so like Christ from a doctrine standpoint, a Christianity standpoint, like he went in the Garden of Gethsemane and he paid for everyone's sins. He felt all the pains that the earth felt. And so what he did is he lived every single life throughout all of time. And this is more his interpretation, but he lived every single life. He lived a black man during slavery. He lived a trans person in 2023. He lived a caveman.
Every person
ever existed lived all their lives so he could understand them and pay for their sins and that type of thing. So he believes in reincarnation, that, yeah, he's going to come back to learn the lesson of what it was like to be the actor for Darth Vader and the trials and tribulations he had to go through. And then he's going to come back as a person in a wheelchair and learn what it was like to be him and go through his trials. And that's
come back.
So
go back in time.
Yeah,
Yes.
wouldn't that just be one person?
Everybody's just
one
person.
spirit is everybody.
Yeah, it's true. And I don't like that because every spirit's supposed to be a unique little snowflake. I'm going to have to call him and tell him that.
Call him right
This
now.
is your brother.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, we got a question for you.
Hey, do you want to be on our podcast?
Explain yourself.
You'd probably enjoy
I
it.
have heard something like that where it's every life that's ever been lived was lived by a single consciousness, just over and over and over.
Yeah, I've heard that
So
too.
you're just talking to yourself right here. Just
We're all
talking
you,
to
bro.
yourself.
We're all you, and you are
We're all
us.
you.
And we're all everyone.
We're all you.
And that's why when
We're
you
all
do
you.
mushrooms, you feel connected, is because you're real.
Because
Like
you're just you.
when you see yourself in the mirror, it's okay to give yourself a hug, but it's just you. Everything's you.
That's why you feel so connected with the grass and the deer and everything.
It's
right?
because the electricity is the connection. Going back to the grounding, you get grounded.
We're not getting back to grounding. It sounds like docking.
It is. You're docking to the earth.
My feet.
Here, let me dock my feet.
So you had brought this up already, but chasing immortality. You had said
Yep.
that if you could take a pill to be immortal, you would do it.
Yeah. So
And you
Yes,
agree?
100%. And I think it goes back to I want to live the best life I can. If I die in a car wreck on the way home, I hope I lived a good life. But if you gave me a pill that's like, dude, you're immortal, I would have some
I get
questions.
mega lazy.
Oh, but I would have some questions, but I would be very excited to take that pill.
I think so too.
Interesting.
My stipulation, my rules are that I get to opt out at some point.
2 million years down the road, you're like, dude,
Okay,
I'm done.
You
I
can
need
pull
to
the
done.
switch whenever you want, but others can't pull it for you.
Correct.
That would be awesome. Where it's impossible to die.
Yes.
Sickness, someone killing you, whatever. That's impossible. But I could choose to not live.
Rule number 2, the government, you would have enough powers with this immortality that the government couldn't capture you and do experiments on you for the next 2,000 years.
That would be awesome.
Have you guys seen
The Good Place?
Good Place?
You turned me on to A Good Place,
No,
didn't
no,
you?
no, it's not a good place.
I don't know.
There's a movie where
'Cause I was actually going to bring that up, but
I can't remember the damn name of the movie, but these people, they are immortal, but they can die. They just heal and come back.
Oh, are you talking the Netflix series that just come out a little while ago?
No, this is
I know what
older.
you're
It's a
talking
couple
about.
years older. So anyway, they go through history and fighting crime and
Yeah.
they're involved in all like these battles.
Yeah, you're talking the Netflix. It was a few years ago.
Yeah, then that's one. So they end up, one of them gets captured, and because they don't know her, right? They captured and they put her in a box,
A metal box.
a metal box, and
throw
they
her in the
throw
water.
her into the ocean.
And she wakes up every what? Like,
She dies. She
Screams,
drowns
drowns, wakes up. Screams, drowns, wakes up.
for eternity.
Yeah.
until the box rusts enough that she breaks out and swims to the surface.
But
That's not in the movie.
Yeah, it's a post-credit scene.
No shit.
She is back. There's a post-credit scene at the end of that series because it's a movie.
what is that show called?
It's a movie. I can't remember.
I remember watching it, and I think that story is
girlfriend
actually
knows.
like an old like wives' tale story where they would talk about a girl that could live forever that's thrown in the water, and they could hear her screaming and yada yada yada.
And it happened to be the main character's like love affair or
Yeah,
sister.
that was
or
good.
something.
It was a good show. Oh, what was your point?
Anyway, So that's my point. Is that's kind of scary.
Oh, because if you were immortal, okay.
And that can't, and that's, I wouldn't want that to happen. Somehow, whether it's you give me AI and so I could break out of, like you give me nanobots so I could break out of anything.
Or if you're in that situation, you can flip the switch. You know, I'm done.
Oh yeah, you're like,
no,
but that would suck.
Yeah.
Here's in my framework, in my idea of this happening, it's like commercialized. People can just choose to do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not just like someone comes to you from the future and goes like, here's the blue pill. It's like, hey, we've developed this thing. You know, if you want it, like, you can live forever.
What would stop everyone from taking it?
Yeah, if everyone's
people's beliefs.
Okay, let's go back to.
Okay, there would be some people that would, but
a lot of
90% of people.
Most people that I've brought this topic up to, they're like, no, I wouldn't do that.
It is true. I've brought this topic up a lot of people and they don't want to. But let me go back to Incredibles and quote, if everyone's super, no one's super.
I don't care about
if everyone's immortal, like, dude, I bet you more than not people would take the pill and then they'd be like, I quit my job. I'm going to go to Hawaii.
Exactly. Because people are selfish. I don't care.
And then they'd run out of money.
Nobody's super. They're not going to work again.
You're not going to die.
I'm immortal.
You don't need money.
You do.
To be immortal, that you don't need to eat, you can't die. So here's the distinction I would make in that situation. I would not want to be immortal. I would like to live forever due to age, so I couldn't age, but I would not want to be immortal. And the reason for that is, I will share this with you, but at some point, if you're immortal, if the sun swallows the earth and you are out there just floating in space,
then you end it.
What's the point? The heat death of the universe happens and you're just the guy out there. I'm still here, guys.
Floating.
At that point, that's
what
why
if
I want the
you
out.
couldn't end it? What if there was no out?
That's my stipulation. There has to be an out.
And that's my stipulation is you can't just make me immortal. You give me nanobots. I know I was go back to AI stuff, but you give me nanobots because say
the nanobots run out of power.
No, they don't. These nanobots don't. They're like some type of fission power that they'll run forever.
Heaven's nanobots are nuclear nanobots.
Yes.
He's all about the nanobots.
Exactly. I am.
Like 3 episodes in a row.
Yes, it's nanobots. But say it does come to that point that we haven't been able to break out of our solar system, but the sun's starting to expand. I'm like, boom, sorry, I'm out of here. And I launch off into space with just my nanobot spaceship and I go to a different solar system.
See, that would be, have you guys...
But what if the solar system's dead? Everything's dead.
No.
You're alone.
Dude,
have you seen Futurama? When Bender is just flying through the space?
Yeah. You're alone.
And there's nothing.
And there's nothing for a long ass time.
I think it would be pretty easy to find another habitable planet.
I find out that you're alive and I figure out this guy can live forever. I'm going to just throw him off into space and you can't. You're just swimming in the space.
I know. That's where my nanobots, like I would be able to...
You hit a planet.
Turn on their nuclear thrusters.
Yes, my nuclear thrusters, nanobots would be able to come out and I'd be able to shoot it into the next solar system. So I get two.
You get an out. You get an out. You get an out. They're like Oprah with the outs in the scenario, huh?
Well, your out is like...
I'm not doing it. That's my out.
Oh, really? You wouldn't take it?
No. I would not live forever.
Okay, so let's go back if you...
So here's the thing. I'm scared of death, but I also would not live forever.
Why?
Why would I want to live forever? That's insane. I'd outlive everyone I know.
So fun. Like, say we do start exploring the galaxy in like a 1500
Sure.
years.
So I want to experience it. I'm not gonna experience it. It sucks.
Let's go back to the thing you said. What about everyone you know?
They'll all die.
You'd meet new people.
They would die.
Then you'd meet new people.
They would die. How boring would that get?
And then you'd meet new people.
No, it'd be...
And they would die, and then they would die, and 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 then everyone would die.
Unless they're immortal.
I'd be immortal. We're going to get into that actually a little bit. So the quote you were referencing earlier was from Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he said, it is the knowledge that I'm going to die that creates the focus that I bring to being alive.
Yeah.
Essentially, without death, life serves no purpose. So that's what you ascribe to. You live every day with that quote in mind. Quote, but the philosophy that I'm only doing what I do because death's imminent.
Yeah, but then you add on top of that hedonism.
I'm also a hedonist.
Hedonism.
Hedonism.
It's a
definition time. Hedonism.
It's formal definition.
Hedonism.
Yeah. So
I'll look
you look at Braden's definition while you look.
So there's a couple different forms of hedonism, and most people think, oh, you just have lots of sex. That's not it.
I'm ascribing to hedonism now.
There's like the trope of a hedonist who's like laying on a bed being fed grapes.
You prioritize pleasure over other life values.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's
now
hedonistic
now
in a
there's
sexual
another
sense.
one
Yes.
that's
It's like hedonism with philosophy with life or something.
yeah, but there's one step further. So there's the philosophy of hedonism is you to maximize pleasure and to minimize pain. And that's how I see most people actually live life.
Yeah.
Is in a hedonistic point of view. So that's the point of life, is to maximize pleasure, so to speak, and then minimize pain. And
Hedonism ideology is a way of life that believes that happiness can only be obtained by seeking as much pleasure as possible and avoiding painful things.
yes, and then there's another one. I'll look it up while you guys continue talking. And there's another level that I ascribe to even more. Called like hedonistic utilitarianism or something. Anyway, I'll look it up while you guys keep chatting.
Okay.
Well, I was going to share. So the Neil deGrasse Tyson quote ties in with the Troy quote when Achilles is talking to the servant girl, and he's like, "I'll tell you a secret they don't teach you in the temples. The gods envy us because every moment could be our last, and so our life is beautiful
because we have an end.
Because we could die.
Yes.
Because this could be our last moment on earth. So our life is beautiful because there is an end. Whereas the gods, like, they just sit there. They're no
bored.
end. They're bored.
Done. They're
Yes.
bored. They can't get out. Yeah.
Yep.
So have you seen A Good Place
Uh-uh.
on Netflix?
No.
I haven't seen
You
it
haven't seen A Good Place?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm going to describe the plot to you. Are you ever going to watch it?
Go. Even if I do.
Okay.
give me
Spoiler
everything.
alert for anybody listening. Go watch A Good Place. It's a fantastic show. There's like 5 seasons. It's kind of long, but it's a great show. I'm going to spoil it right now. So the plot of A Good Place is a lady dies. She doesn't know how she died yet, but she wakes up in the good place. She wakes up in front of somebody who's saying, "Hey, welcome to the good place. You did many great things in life. I'm going to show you your perfect, fantastic life. You have your best house. You're with your best husband. You're with your best friend, yada, yada, yada." She gets there. She doesn't know anybody. He's saying, "This is your dream home." She's like,
Oh.
"That's not my dream home. These are your dream wall paintings. We designed all this with your mind." I don't like these wall paint. I don't even like clowns, like pictures of clowns or whatever.
Okay.
So she starts going through this process of like, what the fuck? I'm not supposed to be in the good place. I was a shitty person on earth. I am not supposed to be here. Then it comes to the realization that she's actually in the wrong place. She swapped with the person she was supposed to be with.
But she did go to heaven.
That's the twist. So she actually went to the bad place.
Oh, and the
bad place makes you think you're in the good place so they can fuck with you and you don't know it. And you don't want to say anything because they want you to think you're in the good place.
And so you're like, that was really
I don't even
weird.
like froyo. Why is everyone serving froyo? Frozen yogurt. This is is
okay.
awful, but hey, everyone loves it, right? Everyone's an actor, everyone's a demon, and everyone's trying to hurt you.
Interesting.
And there's only one person there?
No, there's a bunch of people there.
Oh, okay.
But there's only in the show, there's 4, I think, people who are actual people who are being tortured, but they don't know they're being tortured. It's subtle torture. So over the course of hundreds of years, you're like,
Man, this sucks.
fuck this place.
Yeah, I hate clowns.
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing that picture.
Exactly. So the reason I bring this show up is because with Death in Mind, it actually conveys the most realistic sense of living forever for me, to where I'm actually comfortable with dying. So basically what happens is in the show, they finally realize they're in the bad place. They finally go, fuck, there's demons all around. We're in the bad place. This place is awful. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
They make their way to the good place somehow throughout the show. And in the good place, it is exactly what you would think heaven is. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, forever and ever and ever. And they get to a point where it's like a season of the show where they're in heaven. And finally they go, we've done everything 1,000,000 times. We've fucked everyone 1,000,000 times. We've done anything you could ever think you want to do, see, explore, learn 1,000,000 times. We're bored. Can we kill ourselves, please?
Interesting.
So it's like billions and billions of years go on. And then they finally opt to just kill themselves and be done. And just
Because they're just sick of it.
dissolve themselves. Because they're
They've
sick
done
of it.
everything.
Yep.
See, but I have a hard time, and maybe it's just because I've only been alive for 30 some odd years. I've only experienced so much. And if you're like, hey, Trevin, if we make you immortal, look at everything you can experience on Earth. Like I look at Earth. Earth is huge. most of my time's been spent in this state exploring like the bordering states, let alone if you're like, dude, you get the next like 2,000 years before we start to explore the galaxy. I would be more than happy to spend 2,000 years exploring Earth.
Okay, but what if you're alive for quadrillions of years?
Exactly. There's so many galaxies and wormholes and black
Quadrillion to the 15th power.
And that's why I want the out.
The out.
Is that
But that is a good place's principle is they have whatever they want. They finally get their out.
And the thing that is different from the good place of what reality I think would be is you don't just get everything. You still have to work for it. You still have to create relationships, and you still have to make money.
That's fair. Yeah, because in the good place, they just go, I want ice cream.
Yeah. The hard part would be working. How do you, because you need money. So how do you figure out to where you don't need money anymore? That would be the hard part. Because one thing about
if you lived forever, you would become an Elon Musk type that had so much money you couldn't spend it in 100 lifetimes.
Lives forever.
Okay, fair.
But that's why I'm saying like it can't be everyone lives forever because then it wouldn't work. But if you are
nobody's special.
Because nobody's special, because then everyone would use the system. But if you are immortal, it would be okay for you to work for the next 2-3 lifetimes, because then your 401k would be wealthy and big enough because you would never quit. You would keep building your 401k up for the next 2-3 lifetimes.
No point to quit. You'd live forever.
Then there's a point in time when you could retire for 35 years.
Yes.
And then
go back to work.
Or you take that 401k, that nest egg, and invest it into something.
Yes.
Which then perpetually.
Yep. Because you got to look at rich people. They're like, you got to look at Warren Buffett. His
doesn't need to work.
15 quadrillion grandchildren down the road will never need to work because he's so wealthy that it will just always have enough.
Well, his money's making money on the point to where that money so much doesn't even need to take from it.
So it might take some time, but you could get to a point that you could retire.
Well, and think about this too: is why don't you dedicate your life to education and to learn?
You could dedicate 100 lives to education.
Exactly. So
you could build up student debt and never have to pay it off.
You'll never die.
They throw you in a metal box in the ocean.
But you can dedicate your life to the next thing and work on that and create an invention. Or let's say that you want to become a sports star. And you can dedicate every waking moment to, perfecting this art of whatever.
Of MMA fighting.
Yeah. And then go for
you'd be the best at everything all the time.
Well, I mean, you'd forget things.
Yeah.
It's like normal. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would think so because I even look at, I wouldn't want.
What's the point of living forever if you're just going to forget everything?
No, you would still have memories. Like I look back on my childhood.
It's only because you're 30. What if you're 30,000?
True. So your brain
you download it to a hard drive and then you just insert.
Oh, dude, that sounds like extra step. That sounds awful.
Oh, wait, you're talking about AI nanobots that could pull up information?
Nanobots, baby.
I want to remember my last 14th wife.
That I think that would be the hard part is like, obviously you have a family now. I think that would be the cool. This would be the hard part and the cool part. It would be awesome if I could live forever to watch my kids grow up and have families, and then they'll watch their kids and watch their kids. And I wouldn't even have to be honest. I wouldn't even have to be involved. It's 15
At what point would you get sick of it and just go, they're good?
Well, not even sick of it, but it would be at one point. It would be you would kind of fade away because you're so far removed.
That's
like if my great grandfather showed up,
removed, though. You could still stay involved.
You could
like
if they
great
wanted you to.
Great grandma or granddaughter. Your 18th great granddaughter down, and that's who you're marrying. And you're like, I want to be involved in my family.
Then you might one day see that, like, holy shit, like we became the president. At one point, your daughter married somebody else, your last name changed, and then kids and kids and kids and kids and kids, and then you're like, oh shit, president. Something like that. That would be really cool. Like, that was me, baby. And I set that off.
Is the earth just all of you at that point? Like,
I'm 100% immortal.
Hey, you're on board. You're on board. So A Good Place gave me an existential crisis, but actually kind of in a good way, and kind of helped me like reevaluate why I'm even here. Have you ever seen the show Repo Man? The movie Repo Man?
No.
They're like detectives or I can't remember. It's been a long time, but they're like cops or detectives, and they're like, or they repo organs. That's what it is. Oh, they give organs out to people on loan, and if they don't pay them back, they go repo their organs. So I'm going to cut your spleen out. I'm going to cut your liver out. I'm going to cut your head off and take your brain or whatever it is that you're not paying back. They're like the hitman of the repo world.
Interesting.
In the show, this one as a kid actually effed me up quite a bit. right at the beginning of the show, they're chasing down some fugitive who's got a repossession warrant out for him, whatever. One of the guys, can't remember if he trips, falls, gets shot, or gets injured, but he gets knocked out. And he wakes up, and the guy goes, you good, man? Yeah, you took a heavy fall there. Like, your brain just got effed up, so we actually had to put a donor brain in you. So now he is part of the he's got a lone brain on him or whatever.
The repo man has.
Yeah, I think they're like AI organs. I don't know if they're actual organs or whatever.
Oh, like they grow them they grow just a brain. It's not like they harvested it from someone.
I think they do harvest them. I think there's like a weird twist with harvesting. It's been a while since I've seen it. But then they go through the whole show about these characters and everything. And then at the end of the show, guys, like, I think he's sitting on a beach and it zooms out and it breaks the fourth wall. And the guy's actually in a hospital bed. Guy never woke up from getting knocked out. What they did is just plugged him into the AI software to just say, hey, dude, he's done. Live forever in the AI software. So it totally broke me. I went, holy shit. What if that is literally reality?
Yeah.
What if that is right now? Yep. I died when I was 6 years old, but I'm really just in a computer, a simulation.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where my simulation theory type mind spawned, is that movie. It tripped me out really bad. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's crazy.
I think that's going back to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's the one that convinced me of the simulation theory because of the math you can do on it. We could create a computer that would be smart enough to create a world where the people on it feel like they're real, and eventually they would create a computer that would feel like they're real, and they would create it, so on and so forth.
Yep.
So you just started an infinite chain, and then if you put
big bangs,
infinite up on the wall, and then there's only one reality because there had to be one that started it all. What's the chance of you hitting that reality if you threw a dart, even if you were aiming at it?
It wouldn't be. After so long, it wouldn't be. Exactly. So that's the scary thing about creating a virtual reality, and we're going to do it at some point. There's an inevitability. Once we do, we can never be sure we are not.
I know.
That's the scary thing.
So simulation, there's a guy in there's a college professor or a college person that did his thesis on, and he said there's only three possibilities. There's one possibility that we will make a rule that says it is illegal to create a simulation where the people feel like they're real, because
somebody would do it in their basement.
I know, but that's a rule we create, so that's why it would never happen. Rule number 2 is we create it and now we're in it. Rule number 3 is it's impossible to create something like that. So like it's too complex to create something like that. So the first one, it'll never happen. The second one, we're in it and you'll never know it. And the third one is just, it's impossible to make. And so that was his kind of like, most likely we're in a simulation. Like it's like that is
have you guys
plausible.
Seen City Skylines 2 is coming out?
Yeah.
Each citizen,
the video game where you
lives its own life beginning to end, and you can follow it beginning to end.
Oh, really?
And they go about and they do things that they want and need. And
that's
stuff.
actually a pretty basic like simulation where we didn't put thoughts into them. But we be sure we didn't put thoughts into them,
because they start a family and everything. Like,
and
it's pretty
is
basic,
it everyone in the computer doing this?
Everybody, every single citizen you can follow through their entire life and death.
See, that's crazy, and that's like, imagine what we're gonna do in like 25 years from now, and we're that much more advanced.
Yeah,
I want that guy to feel pain in that game. I'm gonna make him feel pain.
Oh man,
yeah,
because Manhunt.
Because you look at how long a video game has been around, like SimCity, for example, just SimCity. I'm gonna look it up. When was the first SimCity? Because you're talking SimCity, right?
It's very similar.
Yeah, but you're talking like the original SimCity.
Yeah, like isn't that the first game that was like that?
2001, 80s? No,
the first SimCity.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, because there was SimCities way before, like SimCity 2000. See what he comes up with.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, you're right.
Oh, dang, you were right. 1989.
Yep. The first SimCity.
But yeah, you look at 1989, so 34 years ago, we come out with SimCity. Now we're at the point where you have a small city, but the people in that city think they're real. Each individual is living their own life. So give it another 35 years, which technology, it's exponential. It gets better. So it's not even 35 years.
Speeds up.
15 years down the road.
Wait till we've got our normal computers, our binary computers, but they're also they utilize quantum computing. So you've got both in one computer, and the games utilize both, the CPU cores and the quantum cores. And so then the quantum shit is simulating life inside this game while the CPU is actually running the game. And then you get in some crazy shit where you're literally creating a world inside this video game with the quantum computing because it can do that shit.
Because it can calculate all the thoughts and feelings of all the people.
Mm-hmm. Every little
and you get bored and you just hit the power button.
And you go,
shut them all down.
Yeah, some terrorist hit into my towers, and so I'm done with this game.
Dude, it is. How far away are we till that happens?
Oh, probably 20 years.
No, I'm thinking
20
10
years.
10 years.
Maybe farther away from what you're saying, but from creating a standard simulation.
Well, let's go back. When was the first computer?
The first, I think 60s was the actual first computer. I think
He's
it was
looking it up.
63, 64.
And then when was the first home computer?
1945 was the first computer.
That was
Wow.
that was primitive.
wait,
that was
45.
primitive.
I thought you said 95.
That was like a big room that was a computer.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's about where we are with like quantum computing, I think, is like,
You're saying when do we have it on our watch installed in our
when
our
do we
brain?
have quantum computing? No, we were playing SimCity in 1980, 40 years after, 50 years after the first computer was ever invented. 50 years later, we're playing SimCity.
Do you think technology is going to slow down because we're getting lazy because we just have everything we want?
It's going to speed
No.
up.
Because I'm so bored, or sometimes I just go play my video games rather than develop new technology.
Yeah, but someone's out there is inventing quantum computing, Like,
That's fair.
just, less than 100 years before the first computer was ever created.
So yeah, like the first home computer was 1971. So what? 30 years
30
after.
years.
So 30
after-
years to get to the first home computer. Then 1971 to like, I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, you look at 10 years later, 1980s, like that's when video games were starting to get popular. And then you look at the 90s where it's like crazy. Now we have computers that like
It's a bigger industry than the movie
It's
industry.
just, it's normal. Everyone plays video games.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're in the 1950s of quantum computing. In 30 years, we have home quantum computers.
that are huge.
Oh, they're just
Well, no, I mean, just
like widespread.
yeah, widespread. Like, I meant huge. Like,
Or is it quicker? Because 30 years then
Yeah.
is not 30 years now.
Exactly. That's that. Yeah, the things that we know now of how to get that tech, I guess, into everyone's home. Yeah. So in 20 years, we're playing quantum computing video games.
Now, when do they put those in our brain and we just think? We don't even
the
have
Black
to look
Mirror
it up.
where you put it on
Yeah.
and your virtual reality. Like, you don't even have a computer. It's just you go to the virtual reality.
Your eyes just
computers.
gloss over.
Oh, and a reminder for our listeners: this episode is on death.
I told you it's gonna get wild.
Oh, that's pretty wild. Yeah, dude, I can't wait for those days. See, I want to live forever to
Experience
to
that?
experience
Yes.
that gaming experience, baby.
Oh, here I got
Virtual reality.
See, so that you bring up
like 10 years.
you bring
into
up a
virtual
really good
reality.
point. Like, if you lived forever and if everyone lived forever, people would be creating forever.
Yeah.
You would create stuff forever that would be new and fresh.
Yes. And that's why I think the immortality thing is fun, is because we look at, I think too many times when you talk about immortality, it's like, dude, like I've had a bacon cheeseburger. I'm like, yeah, but have you had a Saigu cheeseburger? What is that? I don't know, but they might invent it one day and it might taste amazing. Like we limit our capacity of seeing what could be in the future to where it's like, yeah, I'd be bored. It's like, no, I don't think you would be. Like, I think it would be really cool to come back. Like you go back to like the year 17, like they couldn't even imagine some of the stuff they were doing in 1401 at the battles, let alone
Dude, if they
in the
saw
year-
some three dudes talking on these weird devices
Yes.
and uploading it to the main consciousness of the universe.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm saying, like, I don't think we can even comprehend how cool the future could be. That's where immortality is fun for me.
Or it gets worse, right? Like we're at the peak and food
Oh.
goes scarce, and so now we're eating pills. And
Oh,
like, you've had the last cheeseburger I ever had was 120 years ago, and
True.
now
you're
it's a
like, God
wasteland.
damn it. Yeah,
True.
You're the only one who remembers.
But that it'd still be a wild
it
ride.
would be a wild ride. Back in my day,
They had real burgers.
we would raise animals and kill them and eat them. Jesus, Grandpa,
What's an animal?
We only got robots now.
those things in the books. Yep.
Didn't eat your tooth goo?
I saw a giraffe at a zoo one time. Okay, going back to death. If there was a life, how long's this episode been?
Or 47.
Oh, perfect. If there was a life after death, what do you think it would be like? So while you think about it for a minute,
Man.
there was a guy on my mission. He told me about a dream he had where he did die, But as he woke up when he died, but when he woke up in the next life or whatever, he was like floating along, and there's these like tentacles floating, and they would like touch him, but they'd give him like more consciousness or more understanding of like life and physics and science and English.
This is a dream?
Yeah, it was a dream he had. And he said it was just crazy because it felt so good to like start to comprehend life.
He just described the concept of the movie Arrival. Where the tentacle guys behind the monster, the windows.
Yes, yeah, and they got the tentacles.
They give you the concept or whatever.
Yeah, and you start to understand it more. But it was really cool to hear his interpretation of like when you die, like you'll start to learn more stuff and like be granted like the what's the purpose of life type of thing. And
yeah, but until what end? Like at what end?
So from a LDS standpoint, the end is so that you can become a god and then go start universes and have kids and put them on that planet and watch them. Because like having kids is an awesome feeling, let alone if you're having kids that inhabit an entire planet.
So was that your thought? Like, can you at some point become a god, create little marbles of universes, and just spread out your seed everywhere?
Yeah.
Just skeet.
Skeet.
Dude, you're a sexual predator for universes, man.
No, for universes, no, it'd be with my spouse.
You're the god. You're not spreading your universes in her.
Yeah,
they them.
Yeah, that's that is like that's LDS doctrine. Like you
for real? I didn't know that.
Oh, you and your spouse become
you
gods.
and your spouse become gods, and then you still have spirit children.
What if
God
they're not
man?
worthy?
What?
A man?
Yeah, God's a man, but there's a heavenly mother too. I don't know if you knew that. They just don't talk about that. Yeah,
they might have left that one out, huh?
There is. So like there's a god that's a male and then a god that's a female. Part of the reason I think it's kind of cool, he wants to protect her, so they don't talk about her. Like he doesn't want her to have her name made fun of or taken in vain, so they don't talk about her a lot. But they had spirit children that were us that lived in heaven until we came down to earth to get our bodies, and the whole point of getting our bodies is so that we can go to heaven and then have spirit children and have our own worlds and universes and
we're actually
it's Godception.
Yeah,
because there's one true.
It's a pyramid scheme of gods.
No, it's not a pyramid scheme because that's the thing where we can't comprehend. There was never a beginning and there'll never be an end.
So we're actually really just a different species, but this is the form our species has taken in order to ascend to the the real species.
Yeah,
you're describing aliens, bro.
It's true Godception.
Kind of.
The gods go deeper.
Can I disclaimer real quick? I'm not making fun of religion. I don't want to come across making fun of religion. Sure. I'm obviously very ignorant. I don't know this stuff.
No, you're good.
So if anyone out there listening, I'm not trying to bash a religion.
Oh no, and I think people understand. We're just having fun and talking, and I'm just trying to give as much as I know. And I might be wrong. There might be LDS people out there like, dude, he's so freaking wrong.
You're giving us a bad name. Don't listen to this shit.
We're just three truthfully really ignorant people.
Yep, exactly.
Having fun.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's the concept. Is that there was never the whole like deep doctrine, LDS doctrine, is God was like us at one time. He was a guy that lived on a planet,
but somebody else created him.
That another God created him. Did you know that's the real translation of the Bible? The first verses of the Bible is the gods gathered together and created or assembled stuff. Like it's not just God something. Like it was the gods. Like there was more than one.
I thought it was something along the lines of like, I am the one true God. There are no gods before me, and there will be no God after me, or something.
For this universe, and I think that's a way to look at it. Like the God of this universe, he is the God of this universe.
Okay.
Like you will, like he's the one that'll grant you access to be able to be a God in the next universe type of thing.
Okay. Know that.
You're not going to go. It's not like
who created the first God.
There was never a first God. That's the thing we don't understand.
Circular, it's infinite.
Yes, like it never began and it never ended.
Godception.
So I get where I get the Godception now, almost like Inception. You don't know if the top is still
gods
or not.
Are just a simulation, and they've simulated each other's God. Where's the real God? If they're throwing a dartboard at what God created the God. We're full circle. Like, what came first, chicken or egg?
You're off the side of the
dude. Right, you blew my mind. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
He's just like mumbo jumbo now. So there's a God and a dart, and you throw him.
We're so deep as brains scrambled.
Dude, that would actually be pretty good. I didn't know any of that.
You didn't?
Yeah,
really?
I really
did you not know any of that?
I didn't know that. Well, I knew that there was belief that you could become a god and create universes, but I didn't go back as far as like there's multiple gods that create gods, that there was never a beginning.
Yeah, there's never beginning. So like God had a God and his God had a God, so on and so forth forever. And then it'll go on forever the other direction. Like there's never a beginning, there's never an end. Like that's, I think, a scripture too, where there's no beginning, there's no end type of thing. So
how's that not like questioned?
It just sounds awesome.
It sounds awesome, but it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, so does like that wine and water, you know.
So does the Big Bang.
Yeah,
no, that's fair.
The Big Bang is just like there was nothing, and then all of a sudden
everything,
and then out of the head of a pin, boom, exploded life.
Everything.
Billions and billions of atoms and
that's true. Going back to my statement of like, if that's ridiculous, anything can be.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what's the cool thing about reality is like, dude, it's all crazy if you think about it. Yes. Whether it's the Big Bang or whether it's God, it's so crazy to think about.
And it's always funny because, I mean, you just fell victim of it a little bit too. Every belief always believes that theirs makes the most sense. And then they hear someone else believe that. That's fucking stupid.
Right? It's like, no, dude, you were just talking about the Big Bang.
Yeah, okay, so you believe nothing and then all of a sudden everything? Yep. And I believe that later I could create things? Fuck you.
Yep, exactly.
You're right.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's good though. Thanks for enlightening me. I feel enlightened with the one true God of this universe.
Yes, you're welcome.
Not the one true God, because there's one.
There's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, another disclaimer. This episode was about death.
All right, last thing. If you have any thoughts, anyone who's listening out there about death, send us your thoughts. If you have any concerns, ways to overcome the fear of the inevitable, send them to us on our socials. Let us know what's going on. If you have any other thoughts surrounding death or life, let us know.
And maybe we'll talk about it on our future episode.
Oh yeah, we'll circle back again. Send us some info and we'll revisit it.
Yeah. With that ado, I'm out.
Boom.
Bye. The mic. Little trickle. Ooh.
Might have to do a whole episode on the LDS religion,
dude. You bring some missionaries in here to lecture me, I'll peace out this bitch.
I'm the missionary. I'm lecturing you.
It was a ruse all along.
We get Trevin and we get Nate in here to talk about it because Nate knows a lot too, and you know a lot.
So and
then we could riff all day.
And what's interesting about that is it's so like I was surprised you guys didn't know about it's called Heavenly Father. There is a Heavenly Mother. Like it's 100. Like
I never even knew there was a woman
really?
figure. I thought it was like it's a male-dominated religion. Because thinking about like all the cultist sects of the religion, yeah, the wives are the ones getting fucked constantly, like not literally and figuratively, yes. Like they are.
But so that is, and that's it was actually kind of cool growing up because like they said, like it's always known. It's like, yeah, there's Heavenly Father has a wife, but we don't talk about her because he doesn't want her to get made fun of. He doesn't want her to take any flack or any hate or anything. And so that was always kind of like, oh, that's cool. But you just moved on with it. Like you just knew it as a kid. Like, and so it's interesting that, I don't know, you guys have never heard of it.
Oh.
We're going to know that we become gods and that we have, here's the, would have been actually a good episode.
Dude, we're just after the fact. Like, I'm still.
Okay, so.
This is the post-credits scene right here.
So post-credits on death. So one of the things, how do I put it? So on my mission, like one of the reasons, it's like the whole reason that Christ died for our sins is, I don't even know how to get into this because it's so deep doctrine. So the whole point of, so you've always lived, you've always existed. When God did create you,
like my spiritual form or like what?
Your spiritual form
okay.
has always existed. It's always been out in the ether. At one point, you were given a spiritual body in heaven through Heavenly Father, and then you were given an opportunity to come down here and give a spiritual.
Where was I before all that?
Just floating in the ether, like you've always existed.
That sounds awful.
Someone plucked you out.
I'm just floating along in space, just like a little worm.
Yes.
You know?
It's like you can think about it like you're a bucket of ink.
I'm just a jar of souls.
And somebody put their quill in, sucked you up, and then wrote a story.
Yep. And so the way they talk about it is like if you think about yourself, and this was actually interesting to do with like friends and family. If you were to like touch your feet, where is that from you? I know, but is it down?
Yeah, it's the furthest point away from me.
It's the furthest point away from you. If you were to touch your left shoulder, is that where from you?
My slightly lower
down
left.
and to the left. Okay. If you were to touch your chin,
Below.
Okay. So you're telling me there's one. So what about your right ear?
All right.
Just directly to your right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because this is where I exist.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I exist. My eyes.
Okay. So there is one small point in your brain that you consider your consciousness of where you exist. And that's kind of where they come from is, yes, you've always been this minuscule.
You're saying if you get down to that level, I'm touching the inner left side of your brain. What part of your brain am I touching? Probably go my left.
Just to the left.
Okay,
yes.
What about the right? My right. What about the middle? Well, you're
That's
there.
me.
That's me.
And so that's the part that's existed forever. And so then getting into some of the deep doctrine stuff, that's in everything. So there's that little form of life or that little form of existence in everything in the universe. So like animals have it, but they don't have as high. So you can now you can grade those little things of intelligences to a level. So like humans are pretty high on that intelligence scale versus a dog. It's like 10 levels down versus grass. It's like 20 levels down versus rocks. It's like 70 levels down on intelligence.
You're saying I could have been a rock?
If you were dumb enough on the intelligence scale, but the intelligences, this is like deep LDS doctrine. They obey God because he's the ultimate form of intelligence. And I don't know where it goes from there. I'm trying to remember of some of the lessons.
The rocks obey God.
Yeah, the rocks obey God because he's a higher intelligence. So if God said, hey, make a mountain, like they would move to make a mountain. And that's what makes God powerful is like there's an intelligence to everything and he can talk to everything and have it do what he wants because he's the highest form of that little piece of intelligence in this universe.
I can control rocks. I'm a higher form than them.
But you're not high enough.
You're not high enough. You can tell your dog to do something. You've learned how to communicate with your dog, just like God's learned how to communicate with the rocks. Here's the other cool. Oh, that was the part of the Bible. So the gods created and they sung into existence. And they talk about how everything has a frequency and God knows how to talk to that frequency to get it to do what they want.
Isn't that a real thing? Were we talking about this at one point that your frequency, your vibration,
yes.
If you could control vibrations or sound waves,
yes,
essentially control the fabric of reality.
Well, and they've talked about that. That's a theory for pyramids. They might have been able to control, like they might have got 1 million, and I don't know about 1 million, 100,000 people to sing at a certain octave level to be able to vibrate the frequency of the rocks to place them in places. Like that's one of the weird wacko theories, but it aligns with
wacko,
the whole.
Dude, that's what I believe. What do you mean?
But that's one of the theories of like that's how the Bible's translated from the direct translation is the gods sung into existence this. Like they use the frequency of those different intelligences.
Well, and that's an interpretation. What it says is they sung it in, and then the interpretation is they use frequency.
Oh yeah. Yes. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
It doesn't say they use frequency to.
True. Okay. So, but that's the other thing. I'm trying to think. Maybe I need to Google. I hate that we like sit here and
this could be a whole episode.
I know,
but it would just be an episode of me going, "Oh,
tell me more."
Like, you guys are so stupid.
And then at the end of the episode,
did you like my comeback though? That your Big Bang Theory is stupid.
It's valid. It's valid. I think it's valid.
And
I don't think you said it's stupid, but
no, but
if that's ridiculous, everything could be. You're right. I ascribe to the Big Bang Theory, and I think that is wild. Why is there not other things that could be wild? Yeah, fair. Cool. All right, if you're listening, feel free to stick around for the after show. Deep dive into religion a little bit. I'm going to place that before. And death is over.
Death is over. Now we're talking about religion. You can just cut this whole religion thing. This is me just trying to test myself.
After show.
Cool. That could be this. This is a dinner time conversation. It's shit that happened after we recorded the lunchtime conversation, and it's like bloopers and just bullshit.
Yeah, this is snack time.
This is break time.
A break time conversation.
A break
just
time.
Quick snippets of like after episode 49 or something.
It's actually not
Where
bad.
Are you? You're below your chin.
Or if we have a quick 10-minute quip, just of like,
and you could cut and paste weird stuff too, like that. Where I'm like, well, where are you? Oh yeah, if you touch your chin, you're below it, and then you go back to like, yeah, but Oppenheimer was such a good movie because of. Like you're just cutting stuff that doesn't, and you're like, what the hell?
I like that where are you thought, because you never say this is me. You say this is my body.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is mine.
Well,
It's not you.
what about your brain?
That's my brain.
Right.
My brain isn't
So
me.
what are you?
Where are you?
Exactly. You're that little entity inside there. You're that little form of consciousness.
Are you
These
or are
my
you nothing?
eyes. This is my brain. I use my brain to do things.
Your brain
My
named
brain
itself
does things
brain.
that I don't even know what it does, but it does things for me.
Yep.
And this is my foot and my hand. Where am I?
Heart, my eyes,
I'm here somewhere.
Yep. And that's the whole concept
Piloting
of that's
us.
your soul.
but it's my soul. Deeper level echelon. What part of the soul is you?
A deeper conversation. So if you were to
Hard pivot.
I'm completely changing the subject.
I'm going home.
No, one more.
One hour.
So you're Bobaverse. You're in space. You're traveling the galaxy. So you start to copy yourself. What's the first 5 names that you would rename yourself when you copy? So first version, you copy yourself. What's the new name?
Bobby.
Bobby?
No, I'm
then
way more
Bobo.
basic.
Oh, really?
And then Bobina.
I'm way
You
more
would?
basic than that. I gotta have a system of some sort, man.
Oh, really?
Jordan-1, Jordan-2, Jordan-3.
You would really?
I have to. Like at some point, I'm gonna have so many of me. Why would I have names?
Because so the Bobaverse book is they start to copy and they understand that and they're kind of nerdy. He's a nerdy dude. He's like, well, I'm going to be Goku. He's like, all right, Goku, what's up, dude? And like, this Trevin 1.0 is Goku. And then that person copies it and he's like, well, I'm going to be Homer because I'm feeling a little funny right now. So they start just naming themselves things from their past. But you would really go Jordan 1.0?
Basic, man. Like I would get lost in the sauce.
That
Like,
might be kind of nice because it's like, but
hey, Jordan,
at Jordan
4,954,658.
Would you give permission to say you can go by a different name, but I still want to know your backup Jordan, what number you are?
But then
Probably.
Jordan,
You'd be serialized.
no, because then Jordan you is gonna be like, fuck you, like
You're
can't tell me
Jordan.
what to do.
You're Jordan.
I'm unique.
Yeah, but us 100 million Jordans just said that you're 1
You're
million and
assuming,
one.
you're assuming that you would fall in line with you, and you barely fall in line with anything else
That's a good point.
because it is
You
you.
broke my system.
Yeah.
So you would really have stupid names? You
No, I
give me
don't
your
know.
first 5 names.
You have a really
I
good
don't
point.
know.
The first you would have an idea that the second you would just immediately break. Your first you'd be like, I'm going to go by serial numbers. The second one would be like, nah, I want to be Daquan.
Why are
And then the
you-
third
why
one
are
would
you
be
the
like,
highest
the
power?
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? No, I want to be. I'm
I'm Braden.
I want to be Braden too.
You don't think?
It's okay, Braden too.
Wait, you don't think you would have enough respect for
Myself?
if you were the copy? Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But why would I get more attribution
Why
than,
would I?
Then you?
than me?
Because you're the original.
But not to me.
But who
I'm the
cares if
original.
he's the original? The other 100 million of them aren't, and they go, yeah, fuck the original. That guy
Yeah,
So
sucks.
that is
I'm
what
a unique
happens in the
person.
Bobaverse. Is he starts copying himself so much that it starts to get into the millions, and there are people that want to destroy the stuff he's working on because they're getting pissed off.
But how do they know who's who?
They do know, so you do. Like, and that's it. So the way
Your minds, I can see you're not me.
no, so the way it works is because he's a spaceship, and he's spaceship 1. When he builds 3D printers on different planets and stuff to build another spaceship, and they build a computer on that, and then he uploads his consciousness to that one, and they know when they get uploaded, they're like, oh, hey, I'm the copy. And so that at that point in time, they're like, well, you know what? I want to go by Goku from here on out. So you do know you're the copy.
Okay.
It's not like it's like, oh, am I the copy or you're not like, I would be sitting here and the copy would upload over there and then see me and be like, oh, you're Trevin 1.0.
So due to their perspective change, they know what's up.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where I think it would be easy to almost fall, because I think I could fall in line with Trevin 1.0. Like if
But
I
how
ended
can
up
you
over there,
confirm that Trevin 2.0 is going to fall in line with Trevin 1.0?
you
Because he
don't.
knows that Trevin 1.0 is all in line with Trevin.
Yep. And
1
it's
million Trevins removed?
and that was the whole point of like Bobaverse is it gets so far removed is that people are like, fuck him, I'm not going to fall in line.
Yeah.
But I think it would, that'd be,
Because Trevin 1.0 treats Trevin 2.0 like shit.
no, I would treat him good and he would treat
But
me good.
you treat him like a copy. He's not a real person. He's a copy.
I would absolutely treat 2.0 like a copy.
And the further
you're
down,
not. Yes, you're not me. I'm the original. You're only here because of me.
Dude, you would start a civil war.
Yes, that's my point. And if I didn't do it, 2.0 would do it.
What if? Okay, put it this way: you copy yourself, and I love Ashley, but no, I'm 1.0, so she's mine. Then what am I supposed to do?
2.0 loves Ashley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm 2.0.
2.0 has to go live a different life because it's 2.0.
But I still love her. And you're like, sorry, dude, that's mine. Fuck you.
And then he kills me. Exactly.
True, I guess so. But this one, it was easier because he died. He was a single dude. And then when he gets uploaded,
he didn't have those connections.
True, he didn't have those connections. And the other thing is he signed up for a company that said, as soon as you die, if we can get to you within 15 minutes, we will cut your head off and we'll put it in cryo sleep till we have the technology to bring you back. When they bring him back, they're like, sorry, dude, your brain's ruined. This isn't even you. This is a copy of you. So at the start, he was a copy of his brain. So right off the bat, and then when he makes a copy, I think everyone understood, like, I don't have any connections. We're just trying to like go out and explore the galaxy, and everyone was cooperative. But I could see it being problematic on Earth, like right now, with your spouse or significant other, because that would be wild.
Yeah. So you brought up a good point just now. Sorry, we got to cut this in a minute, but you brought up a good point. If you got copied, you had died. So you died. They copied your brain, put your consciousness in another body. That consciousness actually wouldn't care. I'd be like, I'm alive. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
It would suck for you. And then if that happened multiple times over and over again, the teleportation scenario we had, the copy wouldn't ever give a shit. Ever.
Because the other one's gone.
But you wouldn't care because you're there. Like if I found out I was a copy today, I'd be like, so be it.
Yeah.
I lived a good enough life.
Fuck that guy. I'm me.
Yeah.
But if you had to sever your current life because you were a copy and the original.
Yeah. If I had to make that decision.
There's a Rick and Morty episode on this, I think.
There probably is.
Where he creates a copy and he's like, what do I do? He's like, I don't know. or
you know how many times I've done this? I think you're right. Every like a whole wall of Mortys, I think.
Yeah.
They just pick a new one, man.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Anyhow,
maybe the copy one might have to be a whole episode.
Could be.
Where we dive into it a little more.
Yeah, we did a whole nother hour.
You can catch us on a lunchtime conversation on Instagram and Facebook. Go ahead and send us a message. And on Twitter or X, it is a lunchtime convo.
You can also email us at alunchtimeconvo@gmail.com if you have any feedback or if you'd like to present an idea for us to talk about on the podcast.